The book costs $4. It is a water-damaged paperback from an estate sale, printed in 1961. The author is a man whose name you've never heard of, but his family still owns land across 4 states. You find it at the back of a folding table, wedged between a cracked picture frame and a fondue set. The title is boring, but the first page stops you cold. Capital is not earned, it is preserved. Everything else is just noise. You are 27 years old. You have $18,000 in savings, and you have this creeping feeling that you are doing everything right, yet going absolutely nowhere. You make $74,000 a year. You have a retirement account. You track your spending in an app that spits out little colorful charts, and you study those charts like they actually mean something. You are educated about money the way everyone today is educated about money, through social media, short videos, endless threads, and 7-part series posted by guys with ring lights. And yet, your bank account moves like the weather. It goes up in the good months, and it drops when the car needs brakes, or you fly home for the holidays, or that subscription you forgot about renews again. You sit in your car in the Goodwill parking lot, and you read the entire book in one sitting. The rules inside are not complicated. They are not new. In fact, they are the exact opposite of everything the internet has been selling you since you got your very first paycheck. Old money rule number 1: never touch the principal. You have always been told to invest, but you have never been taught what investing actually means to the families who have been wealthy for 4 generations. It doesn't mean riding a hot stock market. It doesn't mean timing anything perfectly. It means identifying a pile of money that you will never spend. Not in an emergency, not for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not when the market crashes and your stomach drops with it. You treat that pile of money the exact same way old, wealthy families treat land. You do not sell the land, you only sell what the land grows. You sit with this idea for a week. You look at your $18,000 in savings. You decide that $10,000 of it is now your land. You move it into an investment account. And then you do something you have never done with money in your entire life. You completely stop looking at it. The first month makes you anxious. The second month is a little easier. By the third month, it clicks. You finally understand what the book meant. Growing wealth requires you to look away. The anxiety of constantly checking your balance is exactly what makes people panic and lose their money. The first shift: stop measuring what you have, start measuring what you refuse to touch. You start paying attention to what the book says about spending, and for the first time as an adult, you feel genuinely embarrassed. Not about how much you spend, but what you spend it on. The book does not tell you to be cheap. It tells you to spend carefully on things that last, things that won't end up in the trash next year. The real difference between a $40 shirt that turns into a cleaning rag in 2 years and a $160 shirt that you still wear to important meetings when you are 45 is not $120. The difference is the massive compounding gap between the money you wasted replacing cheap things and the money you could have kept and grown. You don't stop buying things entirely, but you do stop buying on impulse. You stop buying the trendy item, the shiny new upgrade, or the newest version of a phone when your old one still works perfectly. You learn to wait. Old money waits. Not because wealthy people are naturally patient, but because patience was drilled into them over decades. They understand that a want is not the same as a need. Confusing those two things is exactly how family fortunes disappear in a single generation. Your savings start to grow, even though your paycheck hasn't changed. You are shocked at first, then you feel a little foolish because the secret is so obvious once you step off the consumer hamster wheel. Old money rule number 2. Your income is not your identity. Today, everyone is putting on a show with their money. The car, the apartment, the vacation, the expensive dinner, all of it is broadcast and perfectly filtered just to get likes from people who are performing the exact same show back at them. And you realize you've been doing this too. You didn't even know it. You just thought you were living your life. But now you see the performance everywhere. You see the coworker making $91,000 a year who finances a luxury BMW, talking about his massive car payment with a weird sense of pride, like struggling to pay for it makes him look successful. You see a friend who moves into a luxury apartment she can't afford, calling it an investment in herself. You see an entire culture built on turning bad financial habits into self-care. Treat yourself. Live your best life. You only live once. You decide to keep driving your 7-year-old car. It runs just fine, and you stop apologizing for it. Then something strange happens. People actually start taking you more seriously, not because you look rich, but because you have completely stopped looking desperate. There's a quiet power in someone who isn't trying to prove anything. People mistake that quietness for deep confidence. They're not entirely wrong. What they are actually sensing is the absence of anxiety. You're not secretly stressing about keeping up appearances. You have nothing to fake. Your armor is lighter. The second shift: stop spending to look rich. Start spending to buy freedom. You are 30 years old. That untouchable pile of money, your principal, is now $41,000. You make $88,000 at your day job. You start taking on consulting work on the weekends. You don't launch a flashy brand. You don't run ads. You just help 2 clients who were referred to you by someone you once helped for free. The old money rule on business is simple. Your reputation speaks louder than your invoice. You don't brag online about your side hustle. You just do great work, let the results speak for themselves, and wait. A 3rd client calls, then a 4th. You don't tell your coworkers, not because you're scared of them, but because the book is very clear. When you brag about money, you dilute its power. The moment you tell everyone what you are building, you trade the actual focus of building it for a cheap, temporary hit of dopamine. Old money families grew their empires for hundreds of years without ever sending out a press release. There's deep wisdom in staying quiet. Your side hustle brings in $3,200 a month. You dump every penny of it straight into your untouchable principal. You do not upgrade your lifestyle. Your principal hits $62,000. You are 31 years old. Having $62,000 feels entirely different than having $18,000, not just because it's more money, but because you have built the iron discipline to never touch it. Saving is no longer a struggle. It is a structure. It is just who you are. Old money rule number 3. Protect your name more carefully than your bank account. This is the hardest rule to learn today. We live in a world where your name has been replaced by your personal brand. Brands are just acts we put on for attention. But a real name, in the old money sense, is what people say about you when you leave the room. It answers one vital question: can this person be trusted with something big? Trust is built through years of making small, quiet, correct choices. It can be destroyed by one loud, stupid mistake. Someone offers you a deal to make $14,000 in just 6 weeks, but they cut corners, and taking the deal would attach your good name to their shady work. You say no. It stings for a few days, but the peace of mind lasts much longer. Slowly, you become the person who actually does what they say they will do. In a world of big talkers, being genuinely reliable is a superpower. You show up, you finish the job, you never overpromise. That reputation opens a massive door. A wealth manager hears about you and brings you a problem. You solve it. Your fee is $22,000. You have never asked for that much money in your life, but you don't negotiate yourself down. You hold firm. They pay it without blinking. The third shift, your reputation starts making you money on its own. You are 34. Your untouchable principal sits at $124,000. Your quiet side business now makes over $9,000 a month. On a random Tuesday morning,
you quit your $96,000 a year day job. You don't make a big, dramatic post on LinkedIn. You just leave. Old money doesn't announce its moves. It completes them. You buy a small, boring real estate property. It's not a luxury condo in a trendy city. It's a basic 2-unit building in a quiet town. A financial influencer would never make a video about it because it isn't flashy. But the numbers make perfect sense, and the tenants pay on time. You buy it, and you hold it. Old money rule number 4. Time is the only asset you cannot buy back. This sounds like a cheesy quote until you hit your late 30s and actually feel its weight. Wealthy families didn't get rich in a few years. They got rich over generations. That means they had to be willing to plant trees they would never get to sit under. You start making decisions with a 20-year plan in mind. You turn down quick cash projects that would steal all your focus. Instead, you invest in slow, boring things that make terrible dinner party conversation. You aren't trying to look cool today. You are trying to be unbreakable 20 years from now. Thinking long-term changes how you see the world. You stop stressing over daily news and start seeing the big picture. When the economy slows down, you don't panic. You're already holding investments that actually grow during a recession. One of those investments makes you $38,000 in a little over a year. You don't throw a party, you just reinvest it. Old money doesn't celebrate expected returns. You only celebrate when you get lucky. This wasn't luck. This was the plan. The fourth shift. Stop measuring success in years. Start measuring it in decades. You are 38. Your untouchable pile of money is now $340,000. You own 2 properties free and clear. Your business brings in $180,000 a year, and you barely have to manage it. You work 4 days a week. On Fridays, you focus purely on building relationships that might not pay off for another 10 years. People your age are drowning in hidden anxiety. They're stressed about their mortgages, passed-over promotions, and stock market dips that wipe out their savings. You are not immune to the real world, but you are completely insulated from the panic. Financial gurus tell you to save a 3-month emergency fund. Your emergency fund will last for years. You never talk about this. No one needs to know how bulletproof you are. They only need to know you're doing fine. Old money rule number 5. Never let them see the count. Think about the truly old, wealthy families, not the screaming celebrities, not the tech billionaires, the quiet families whose money survived the Great Depression and 2 world wars. They all share one trait. You can never tell how much money they have just by looking at them. No flashy designer logos, no diamond-crusted watches, no giant mansions that scream for attention. They aren't just being humble. They know that showing off is a tax. Looking rich attracts all the wrong people. It brings out the beggars, the fake friends, and the bad business deals from people who just want a piece of your pie. Being invisible is your greatest protection. As the book clearly states, showing off wealth is always the first move of an insecure person. You wear a plain watch. It cost $400.
You wear it for 7 years. You are 41. Your net worth is over $1.1 million. Exactly 3 people on Earth know that number, and one of them is your accountant. You don't feel like a millionaire. You don't feel like the guys in the luxury lifestyle videos. You just feel like someone who made 1,000 small, smart decisions in a row for 14 years. Living inside that success doesn't feel like crossing a finish line. It just feels solid. It is quiet. It is slow, and it is permanent. The internet is still out there, spinning its wheels. It's still selling panic and hustle, still trying to make you feel like you are falling behind the guys with the ring lights who promise a shortcut. Some of those guys actually made it, but most of them are just faking it, trying to sell you the secret. You don't even watch them anymore, not because you hate them, but because their noise is completely irrelevant to you. Their show was never meant for someone who already had a real plan. Somewhere tonight, a 27-year-old is standing in the parking lot of a Goodwill. She is holding a $4 book, reading a sentence that she doesn't fully believe yet. Capital is not earned, it is preserved. She will probably put the book back on the shelf. The internet will probably grab her attention before she even reaches the second chapter. The noise of the modern world is incredibly loud. The quiet truth is very easy to miss. But if she actually buys it, if she follows the first rule and then the second, if she fights through the discomfort of saving until it becomes second nature, she won't just change her bank account, she will change her entire future. She will buy herself real options, the kind of options you can never get rich quick to achieve, the kind of freedom that requires the one thing old money understands better than anyone else: time, patience, and the sheer willpower to let your life compound in total silence. The book only costs $4. The rules are completely free. The only thing they will cost you is the version of yourself that wanted everything right now.